North of 10 years after the occasions of the primary film, the film starts with Jake Contaminate portraying his unobtrusive and tranquil life as head of the Omadakea group and raising a family with his significant other Neytiri, which incorporates his children Medium and Loeke and his little girl Tuck, his embraced little girl Kiri, brought into the world from Elegance Augustine's out cold Gnostic symbol, and a human kid named Bug, the child of Miles Quaritch who was brought into the world on Pandora yet couldn't be shipped to Earth in cryostasis. While Jake can acknowledge Insect as an embraced child, Neytiri is doubtful of him given his human starting points. Nonetheless, every one of the kids blend and mingle well with one another including Insect, whom Kiri is loving with despite the fact that he is a human. Bug doesn't embrace his human legacy and feels more lean to Gnostic's culture and customs. They carry on with an ordinary existence until one day they notice a bizarre star in the night sky. Sadly, they understand it's a RDA space transport with people getting back to Pandora to colonize it, raising another really working base once more. Among the fresh debuts in the boat is Colonel Quaritch, who has been cloned into a Gnostic's body and with his recollections transferred from before his passing. Accordingly, Quaritch can't recall his destruction on account of Jake however is simply ready to remember the occasions before and his vindictive mission to wipe out Jake. To keep the RDA from taking advantage of Pandora once more, Jake drives an essential guerrilla activity against the RDA supply lines, debilitating them. In one of the tasks, Loeke, who defies Medium and anxious to show what him can do, attempts to help Jake in fight yet gets injured. Jake safeguards and teaches him to not imperil his own security by being foolish. That evening, while at the same time keeping an eye on his injuries, Neytiri smoothly reminds Jake to be not excessively unforgiving with Loeke, to which Jake communicates his anxiety as a dad for the well-being of his youngsters. In the interim, the counter follow-up on the RDA supply lines doesn't agree with Quaritch, who starts a pursuit mission to kill Jake. During a perky endeavor, Jake's kids alongside Bug investigate further into the rainforest. Unbeknownst to them, Quaritch and his group are at a similar area investigating the site where Quaritch will see his human remaining parts. An attentive Loeke sees their presence and rapidly illuminates his dad Jake, who was made aware of the circumstance. In any case, an engagement happens and Quaritch's crew catches Jake's kids. Jake and Neytiri show up in time and free the majority of them, yet Bug is taken by Quaritch, who remembers him as his child. On board the boat, the RDA attempts to coercively separate data about Jake from Bug who will not give. Evolving technique, Quaritch tends to Bug as his child and furthermore to make sense of more about the Navi in return for his opportunity on his side. Despite the fact that unhelpful and ignorant about Quaritch's genuine mission, Insect shows Quaritch Gnostic's culture. Quaritch is additionally effectively ready to tame an Ikran flying animal as his vehicle. Realizing the peril Insect's information on his whereabouts stances to their well-being and furthermore, to stay away from another calamity, Jake persuades a hesitant Neytiri and his family to oust themselves from the Omadakea group and retreat toward the eastern seaboard of Mekayina, a coral reef island whose tribe and way of life is adjusted to Pandora's oceanic environment. Jake gives his central mantle to his replacement and passes on altogether to Mekayina. Once showed up, they are welcomed by the group boss Tanawari and his significant other Ronald, who is suspicious of them at first. Be that as it may, Jake makes sense of their circumstance and they are consented to remain and given cover. Despite the fact that a few tribesmen disparage Jake and his youngsters for their hereditary human legacy, the family learns the methods of the reef individuals, gaining the appreciation of them. Kiri is interested with the oceanic existence of Mekayina and fosters an otherworldly bond with the ocean and its animals, while Loeke gets to know Syria, the girl of group boss Tanawari and his better half Ronald. While adjusting to their new climate, Loeke gets into a battle with Syria's sibling Aonung when he pokes an unrefined fun at Kiri and him of their blended human genealogy. Jake reprimands his child for his way of behaving. At Jake's demand, Loike gets back to apologize to Aonung and his companions. Notwithstanding, they tempt him to an excursion into the domain of a perilous ocean hunter and leave him abandoned as a retribution. The ocean hunter attempts to go after Loike. Nonetheless, Loike is saved by and becomes friends with Payakan, a tulkun, a clever and pacifistic cetacean species whom the Metkayina think about their otherworldly family. Upon his revisitation of Metkayina, Boss Tanawari, who became mindful of Aonung's activities on Loike, requests that the previous apologize to Loike. Nonetheless, Loike assumes the fault on himself, winning Aonung's companionship. He is likewise informed that Payakan is an outsider among his species. In the interim, out traveling to a branch off of the Tree of Spirits, Kiri joins with it to meet her mom, however, experiences a vicious seizure. She is recuperated by Ronald, yet when Jake calls Norm Spellman and Max Patel for help, Quaritch can follow them to the archipelago where the reef individuals reside. Carrying Bug with him, he secured a whaling vessel which is hunting tulkuns to gather their mind catalysts for making hostile to maturing cures. Quaritch starts to mercilessly scrutinize the native clans about Jake's area, bombing that. He arranges the whaling group to wantonly kill the tulkuns to draw Jake out. Loike intellectually connects with Payakan and discovers that the tulkun was projected out on the grounds that he conflicted with the methods of his species and went after the whalers who killed his mom. At the point when the Metkayina learn of the tulkun butchers, Loike takes off to caution Payakan, trailed by his kin, Syria and Aonung. They find Payakan being pursued by the whalers, and Loike, Kiri, and Tuck are caught by Quaritch. With their kids in harm's way, Jake, Neytiri, and the Metkayina set off to face the people. Quaritch powers Jake to give up, yet seeing his spirit sibling endangered, Payakan assaults the whalers, setting off a battle which kills the vast majority of the group and basically harms the vessel, making it sink. Needium salvages Loike and Bug, however is lethally shot. Jake faces Quaritch, who involves Kiri as a prisoner. At the point when Neytiri does likewise with Insect, Quaritch at first denies his child, yet stops when Neytiri cuts Bug on the chest. Jake, Quaritch, Neytiri, and Tuck end up caught inside the sinking vessel. Jake chokes Quaritch into obviousness and is protected by Loike and Payakan, and Kiri calls ocean animals to help her save Neytiri and Tuck. Bug finds and saves Quaritch, however passes on him because of his remorselessness towards the Nausicaa and putting his objective to kill Jake's family over being his dad and turning into a decent man, driving him back to rejoin Jake's loved ones. After Needium's burial service, Jake and his family choose to forever remain with the Metkayina.